Welcome to Filmoscopy, 2/3 of a podcast that go around talking about a movie one of the members has picked. Today we are missing Cody, the ringleader, the editor,
Commander Cody.
Brains, Commander Cody.
We lost him on fucking Utapau with Obi-Wan.
Today's movie, everybody, that we're doing, it was my selection. Hi, I'm Lance. I'm the co-founder of this podcast.
Or host, actually.
The one who did all the legwork to get the podcast started.
Yeah.
This is Owen.
Hi.
He's just kind of there.
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm just here for the ride.
Well, he's also a co-founder. And like I said, we're missing Cody. And unlike last episode, which was Pearl, Cody will not be doing an NWO style run-in. He is, I'm not sure what the fuck he's doing, but he's off for 4 days, and him and his wife went road tripping. I'm not sure where. I saw a picture of her on Facebook with him, and I said, I should probably click on that and see where they're at, but I just didn't care. So
they're in Mexico right now.
He's trying to free his people. I really don't know what the fuck he's doing, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. So, before we get into today's movie, I have a nightmare story that I'd like to share with Owen. I want to get his reaction on the podcast. So, Owen knows, Cody knows, Alex and Sarah and Jacob and my girlfriend Savannah know. Those are the listeners that I know that actually listen to this show. They know that I have extreme germophobia mixed in with a lot of OCD. I have Wet One hand wipes with me at all times. I have Clorox disinfectant wipes with me in my truck. All that good stuff. So, yesterday was my last day of my vacation I took at work. And it went very well. For the most part, everything was going off without a hitch. I was having a good day. I felt good emotionally. It's one of those days that, you actually didn't feel depression, And we get to the end of the night, and Savannah cooks for me and her son Riley a broccoli and cheese soup, and then some, just a little side of Knorr noodles. I think it was garlic noodles, and then some garlic toast. It was awesome. Just a simple little meal. It wasn't anything extravagant. She can cook some extravagant stuff, but it was just a simple little meal.
Some delicious gourmet meal.
It was very good. I ain't gonna lie to you. I fucking love that shit. So, I'm laying down in bed. I gotta go to work. So, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna try to get 8 hours. That did not happen. I go, you know what? I need to use the bathroom. So, I go downstairs to use the bathroom. Now, I've had issues with my upstairs toilet in my townhouse. It was leaking, and they eventually fixed it, no big deal. But that toilet doesn't have as much power as the downstairs toilet. The downstairs toilet is I call it, it's kind of like the beast. It's unstoppable. You can't stop it up, because when you flush it, it has this weird thing where it fills up with water, and it sucks all the water down, fills up, and then it reflushes itself after one flush. It does it by itself. So it's almost unstoppable.
That's weird.
I know it's really weird, but I'm like, man, this thing's incredible. So I go downstairs to use that bathroom because, you know what? It's unstoppable.
It's unstoppable. You cannot shit enough in that toilet to make it clog, is what you're saying.
Or so he thought.
So he thought. That's foreshadowing.
Yes, it is. So, I get done with my business. It's not solid. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. I had a lot of cheese, so it wasn't solid for me. I get up and I flush the toilet, and I'm not paying attention to the noise it makes. And I hear this little gurgling noise, glug, 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 glug. And some toilets, when they're almost stopped up, when you flush them, they slow drain, and then they eventually go down and they make that noise, right? So I thought to myself, man, that sounded weird. I should have looked in the toilet. I didn't. So I decided to flush the toilet again.
Oh, God.
And all the water in this toilet came gushing out of the top of the toilet bowl into this floor.
God
now,
damn, dude.
Owen knows.
Like, yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen this at the store.
This But here's the thing, too, Owen. You remember how small that little bathroom is underneath your stairwell in the old townhouse you had?
Yes, I do remember.
That's the exact same size bathroom I have, so imagine water gushing out of the toilet.
So is it like by the kitchen?
Yeah, it's kind of by the kitchen, but it doesn't go into the kitchen. Like, none of the stuff went out. I don't think the water that came out, because we got towels on it pretty quick, I don't think it got into the floor, into the living room.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, it was there. It was enough, and we mop it. And the thing is, my girlfriend, like, this is my fucking nightmare, dude. I cannot get past this. This is the worst fucking thing that can happen to me. I cannot, like, clean like I want to clean because guess what? We have 4 pet birds. Any kind of house cleaner that you can think of can kill the birds. We have to use like Ecos, which is a all natural just degreaser cleaner. We have a bird cleaner that's safe for birds. We have another thing that's safe for wood that you can use. So we have all this stuff, and I have to mop with this Mrs. Meyer stuff, which is an all-purpose cleaner, but it doesn't disinfect. You know, it's not like Lysol. It's not bleach. So I get it mopped up. It's just a fucking nightmare, and Savannah takes over the rest for me. She sprays. She actually gets. I didn't realize she had a bleach bottle, but she gets out and she sprays the toilet down, and you know, I mean, this shit like is almost like
Picks
a quarter of an inch of water
off the floor.
Well, dude, here's the thing, because none of it was solid, so it just mixed in with the water. So it wasn't like I had a turd floating around. It was just there.
That's foul, dude. I'm sorry.
I know. The thing is, I can't smell, so it didn't like super bother me in that instance. I just know what the fuck it was, and I'm just freaking out in the moment. So, you know, Savannah cleaned everything down, and I washed. You know, she said we had the towels, and she goes, "We can just wash the towels." I'm like, "No, we fucking can't. These towels are dead. The bath rug that was in there soaked up all the water too. It's dead. We had to throw all that shit away to me. I was not going to wash it in the washing machine." And so it's just a fucking nightmare. I go upstairs, and, you know, I take a shower, and then I wash the clothes I had on me. It was just this fucking huge nightmare. And then today, she said she'd clean everything down. So in my head, you know, we had to move the bird cages from the kitchen to the living room so they couldn't be around the stench of the bleach. We got the bathroom door shut. There's a big, like, blanket she has at the edge of the door so none of the stuff will seep out. So like none of the, you know, the fumes from the bleach will seep out and kill the birds. Mm-hmm. And she's had the bathroom fan running like almost 24 hours now. So I went in there today and I wiped like the entire like all the countertop that was exposed. Like there was things I just didn't touch in there. I wiped the countertop down and all the cabinets of the bathroom with Lysol wipes. And then I wiped like all the baseboards. Like this is the area that the mop probably didn't get to down. So I've done my OCD cleaning. I don't know when that bathroom is going to be safe for me and my mind to use. But yeah, it was a fucking nightmare. Like that's the worst thing that could ever happen to me. The very least, it was my own shit though.
My own shit. At the very least, it was. Yeah, at least it wasn't some stranger's shit. Of course.
You know, yeah, like we talked about. We've had too many poop stories at that store that we used to work at together. And hopefully, in the next 2 months, I will no longer be working at it. By the time this episode comes out, it will be a month away. But yeah, it was a fucking nightmare. Like I didn't, and again, obsessively, I have wet ones with me all the time. Well, I didn't have any more wet ones in the house. They were all in the truck. I wasn't going out to the truck to get them. So I'm everything's clean off, and like in my mind, I have to like, you know, try to scrub I always wipe my feet off before I get into bed with the wet ones. This is how bad my OCD is.
Yeah. And
I didn't have that, but I have this antiseptic wound cleaner from Band-Aid. And I just sprayed my feet off with that before I got in bed. I'm like, fuck it, this is good enough.
Fuck
it. Anyway, so how was your day, Owen?
My day was okay. I got the new Zelda that just came out. This will probably date this episode. But so on Friday, Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I just got that. I've been playing it a little bit, and it's It's kind of just the same fucking thing as the last game so far. So, I mean, there's a couple cool gimmicks, but overall, yeah. But it remains to be seen. I've only played a little bit of it, so maybe there's something cool that'll knock my socks off. Maybe the dungeons will come back. I don't know if you know, Lance, but the last Zelda that came out, Breath of the Wild, like they basically took out the dungeons, and dungeons are like a big part of Zelda. I don't know if you played them when you were a kid, like Link to the Past or anything.
No, I never played any Zelda. I've heard people talk about them. I've heard you and Cody talk about them.
Yeah, so usually in a traditional Zelda game, that's like kind of like where you go for progression. It has a lot of puzzles in it. You go through like a dungeon. There's enemies and a boss fight at the end. Breath of the Wild kind of did away with that, and it's all like open world and stuff. And you kind of just do these little things called shrines. And it's kind of like if you've ever played like a Ubisoft game like Assassin's Creed or like Far Cry or some shit like that. Or maybe even I think the Star Wars game, Fallen Order or whatever. I think it might have something similar like that, but I'm not sure. I've never played that actually. But it's just basically these little places on the map that you can find where you go through and you get like a little reward for doing it. So yeah, a big thing everybody was complaining about in the last game was that they took those dungeons out. So they've been kind of tight-lipped on whether or not they'll be coming back in this one. And they kind of, the way they have it set up in the story, there's this big, like kind of what looks like a big dungeon that you have to get through this little island, and get all the shrines on the island to be able to get into it. Excuse me. I ate a lot of shit today too. I had lobster. I had a lobster fucking bun, which was pretty good. Had a bunch of ice cream. So I'm fucking, I'm bloated. But yeah, that was my day.
That ice cream, you sent me a picture of when you were responding to one of my Snapchats, and it looked banging.
I know, dude. I put the fudge on there. I drizzled some of that fudge. That shit was good.
Well, real quick, have you had any chance to play the new Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor?
I've seen it. It got bad reviews on PC because I think it was unoptimized. Like it ran really poorly on PC. So I haven't got it yet. I haven't even played the first one yet. So I haven't been in a Star Wars mood in a while though. So maybe when I get back into that, like I told you earlier, I've been in like in a Batman mood for some reason. So I've been playing all the Arkham games and watching the animated series and stuff.
That's pretty dope. Are you enjoying rewatching the animated series?
I've actually never watched the animated series before.
Really? Okay.
Nope, I have not. Dude, the animated series rocks. Like, I kind of wish it was more like, I mean, because it's a 90s, like, Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, it's still kind of, dark for that, so it's not, it's not really childish or anything, but, I feel like it'd be cool if maybe they dealt with some, like, I know eventually they do, like, deal with some more grimmer concepts, but I don't know. I like when the stakes are like people are gonna die, and you never really get that feeling too much. I mean, there's a couple parts where you do, but I mean, overall it's still good. I love the animated series is like what I'm always talking about whenever I talk about like Batman settings that I like. Like, I love Batman settings that have like that weird future like retro like style, like where everything's kind of like Art Deco, it's like everything kind of looks like the 30s or the 20s, but they still have computers and stuff, and everything's dark and there's gargoyles everywhere and shit, so it kind of has like this gothic Art Deco look to it. That's the kind of Batman that I love, and also having it be a little bit campy, a little bit comic book-y. I don't like my Batman all too realistic or gritty.
Oh, I got you. So that's a stab at Mr. Christopher Nolan, huh?
And the new Batman as well, a little bit.
Oh, I got you.
I guess Batman v Superman also, isn't he like really fucking? He's like, I kill people.
Yeah, that one. I mean, it's more comic booky because Superman's comic booky. But
it
tries to be as grounded as it can.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they tried. I understand. I'm not gonna get in this whole Snyder thing. They just tried to be different from the Marvel movies, which everybody was like, yeah, these aren't as good as the Marvel movies. Well, they're fucking different.
Yeah.
And then when they started copying the Marvel movies, they're like, you're copying the Marvel movies. Like, they just can't fucking win. It's so stupid.
You cannot win. Yeah, I don't know.
But I've made my discussions on the Batman Plan clear. It's a good movie. I don't think it's good as any of the Nolan trilogy. It might be on par with Batman Begins, but I love The Dark Knight Rises and I love The Dark Knight, and
yeah, The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Cock Rises. It's like, yeah, look at this. That's going back to Kid Cudi from X. It's like The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Cock Rises. That's what I call. You know how your wiener's a different color than the rest of your body?
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's the dark cock rising.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Oh God.
What movie are we doing, by the way?
Well, I think we're I don't know. I think that's the end of the podcast, man.
Yeah. I think we should just have like a section of the podcast where we just bullshit or something.
We got that.
I guess
every episode's like that.
I guess we already do have that. But I don't know, just to pad it out, I guess.
That's pretty good. That I was kind of, I don't know, like when you said the mention like how your cock is different color than the rest of your body. I'm like, yeah, I thought it was only me, but I'm glad it's not.
Yeah, it's a universal. I think there's only a few. There's only a few weirdos I think who have. You have to be defunct. I think there's something defective if you have a lighter cock than your body. There's something wrong with you.
It's pretty fucked up, man. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I saw a commercial. I looked up. I'm like, well, that's not the commercial I thought I was going to see right now. It's okay though. All right. So everyone, we're going to get into our movie. The movie is Heartbreak Ridge. This is classified as an American war film.
Though it's mostly not a war movie, honestly.
No, it's not. No, it's, we'll get into like the personal stuff here in a minute. It is, man, it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Not coming of age, but an ending of age movie. Like coming of age is like someone at the beginning of their life trying to figure shit out. Well, he's at the end of his life trying to figure shit out.
Yeah,
he's trying to get back with his ex-wife.
He's trying to impart his wisdom. It's a very. I was kind of reading a little bit about the director. I know he was a Vietnam vet.
Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's the director.
The writer, my bad, not the director.
I was like, Clint Eastwood's the director, buddy.
Yeah, I know for a fact Clint Eastwood was not in Vietnam. I think he was in the army though. Clint Eastwood was.
Yeah, I think he was in there for like 2 or 3 years. But that was in the 30s. He started acting in the 30s, so that would have been like World War.
Nah, he was in the army during Korea. Actually, funnily enough. But I don't think he was actually in any combat or anything.
Was he in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, he was in Mortal Kombat. No, he was never in Korea. He was just in the army during Korea. So, all right.
Yes.
But
hold on. And the Battle of Heartbreak Ridge, which just movie references, is a real life battle.
Yeah, it was the fucking 2nd Infantry Division of the U.S. Army against. I don't know. I don't know my Korean history very well, so.
Well, look, this thing is called. I'm gonna spell this word out for you, and you try to pronounce it. It's called the Battle of Heartbreak Ridge, also known as the Battle of WEND, like wind.
Windingley.
Yeah.
Dude, look at the. I'm guessing you're looking at the Wikipedia page. Go down and scroll down to casualties and losses, and look how fucking lopsided that shit is.
Let's see here.
Like, look at North Korea and China versus fucking us.
Let's see here. Holy shit.
It's like every fucking battle in Korea. I'm trying to think of what one of the other ones is.
It doesn't have like it doesn't. I mean, it's got a bunch of numbers. I'm not gonna read the whole damn thing because I'm stupid. Like, so did the U.S. get fucked up in this war?
No, not in Korea. No, China kind of got its ass kind of fucked. So I don't know. I guess I can quickly just say like, so in the beginning of Korea we were kicking ass, and then China came in and they like Zerg rushed us with fucking. This is the typical thing. I mean, I don't know. This might be myths or some shit. Like I said, my Korean history is like almost non-existent. I know the basics. But MacArthur was having us kick ass, and we were steamrolling North Korea, and we made it to the border of China, and China got pissed off and joined the war, and they Zerg rushed us and pushed us all the way back to whatever the fuck the capital of South Korea is. I don't know. Whatever. Seoul?
Isn't it cold? Seoul, yeah. Seoul, South Korea or something like that.
I think that's it. Let me make sure that's the one at the bottom. But yeah, we got pushed all the way down. No, it's not Seoul. It's whatever the fuck the city is, like way at the bottom of the Korea. Way at the bottom of Korea. I mean, I could not tell you because my geography's bad as well about Korea.
My U.S. geography's bad. I can't say that shit.
Yeah, this is where my gaps in my knowledge get exposed. But they pushed us all the way down south, and then I guess we got reinforced or whatever, and kind of got more mobilized. MacArthur, I think, got pulled out of. He got relieved of duty because he wanted to drop nukes on the Chinese. And then we pushed it all the way back up to the whatever parallel that we are now, 38th parallel. I think we passed it a few miles north of that as well. But then eventually we had some ceasefires and some truces and stuff like that. Technically, the Korean War is still ongoing. It's just been in a ceasefire for the past, how long has it been? 80 years? 70 years? So
there's a little nod to, like, technically, obviously, we didn't win the Korean War, and now I think it's called the Korean conflict.
Yeah, well, it was like a draw. I mean,
yeah, that's what they call it in the movie. Remember later on when
they say it's 0-1-1.
0-1-1. Yeah, 0-1-1.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that when we get like a little bit further into the movie. So, Owen, is this your first experience watching this movie?
Yeah, I have not seen this movie before. I've heard about it. I think I thought this was a World War II movie, and I think I was conflating it with like Letters from Iwo Jima or Flags of Our Fathers. But no, this is a movie about, I guess, the invasion of Grenada.
Now, there is a movie I'm going to do. It's World War II movie. And I'm going to have to pick it on an episode that Cody wants to skip. Because he's going to hate the movie, but I think you're going to love the movie.
Yeah.
It's called Kelly's Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes, dude. What about that shit?
Hogan's Heroes is a great show. But like the last, like Kelly's Heroes it's a Clint Eastwood movie. There's quite a few other stars in it: Donald Sutherland, Telly Savalas. It is about these U.S. soldiers who are trying to go rogue in World War II because they know there's a shit ton of gold in this German bank, and they just want to get the gold and just run off. They don't really care about fighting the war anymore because they feel like it's just a waste. It's a great movie because there's a lot of humor in it and there's a lot of action. It's a lot of great shit.
Yeah.
There's 3 movies, old war movies, that I absolutely love. One is the Battle of the Bulge, not the one in my pants.
Who's the guy in Kelly's Heroes with the flight cap on? He looks like Anthony.
That's Donald Sutherland. That's the one with the big bushy beard.
Yeah, he looks like Anthony.
Yeah, he does. He does. But that's have you ever seen Lost Boys?
No, but I know what it is.
Okay. Well, the main bad vampire is David, is the character's name. He's played by Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
He's got blonde spiked up hair.
Oh, okay. Is this his dad? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I know who Kiefer
Sutherland is. You've seen American Haunting, right?
I don't.
That's the movie about the Bell Witch that they made in like 2006.
I might have. No, I don't think I have. If it's about the Bell Witch, no.
Okay, well, it's not worth watching, so I don't watch it. But
Okay.
Donald Sutherland plays in it too. Have you seen
the Bell Witch?
No, no, he's actually John Bell, the guy who owns the homestead.
Okay.
Have you seen Space Cowboys?
No. All this shit. I've never heard of any of this shit.
Okay, well, look, Space Cowboys is actually a movie I think I may like pick one day, but it's Clint Eastwood, it's Tommy Lee Jones, it's Donald Sutherland, and it's James Gardner, who is famous for playing a show in, I think it's the early 60s, maybe late 50s, called Maverick. And he also played in Rockford Files. He was James Rockford. He's fucking incredible. Anywho, these are all these fucking great movies. But there's 3 war movies I absolutely love. They're like old 60s into the 70s war movies. And one of them is Battle of the Bulge, which has Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw, who people will recognize as the crazy captain in Jaws. The one like, I'll kill your shark for you, but it's not going to cost you $5,000. It'll cost you 10. You know that guy?
Yeah.
He plays the German. It's a great fucking movie. It's a very long movie. They even have the intermission they used to put in old movies still in the movie on the Blu-ray edition.
Yeah.
But it's Battle of the Bulge. It's The Dirty Dozen. And Kelly's Heroes. These movies are great. Now look, when I talk about my movies, obviously I like shit like Star Wars, Mortal Kombat, a lot of the comic book movies and shit like that. You wouldn't expect me to like this kind of shit.
Yeah.
And growing up, I mean, obviously I love Ninja Turtles too, Secret of the Ooze. Growing up, my dad tried to have me watch his movies with him. And he would, not Dirty Dozen, Fistful of Dollars.
Dirty Dancing.
What's the other one? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, all that kind of shit. And that shit just did not interest me whatsoever. If he said Clint Eastwood, I'd go, ugh, I don't want to watch any Clint Eastwood movies.
You're like, they're so
slow
movie, for old people.
Yeah, they are. They are. But this movie here, he popped it in one time, Heartbreak Ridge. And this was the first movie that I watched of Clint Eastwood where the light bulb clicked on and like, okay, I like this kind of movie. I like this kind of humor.
Clint,
there's some goofiness
Clint
in
Eastwood's a badass. Dude, that happened to me when I don't know. I had known about like military stuff, but I was always just interested like in World War II as a kid and kind of like the Civil War a little bit. And I was never interested really in like, I just liked the guns and I liked like the helmets and like the uniforms and stuff. But then I think my uncle made me watch, or he didn't make me watch, but we like sat down and watched like Full Metal Jacket, and I was like, dude, this fucking rocks. Like, this shit's funny as shit. like, I mean, of course not the part where Private Powell like kills himself and blasts, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, but still, I don't know. There was something about it that was really cool. I mean, I love, war movies. I never pick them for the podcast because I know you guys don't really like them. So I don't want to bore you guys to death with them. Because there's some that I like that are really just kind of like there's a movie called The Caine Mutiny or The Caine Mutiny. It's an old 50s movie with Humphrey Bogart in it.
Okay, I know Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, it's about it's adapted from a book, and the book is about this World War II U.S. Navy officer who served on like destroyers, which are these like little tiny ships. They're not very big. In the Navy they call them tin cans because they're so small and like when you're in bad waves and stuff, it throws you around and shit. So that's what they call them there. And they're not very glorious assignments. You're not going to be doing crazy shit in a destroyer, especially in the kinds of destroyers he was in. He was in destroyer minesweepers. So what he would do would just be like their ship would go ahead of like any landing craft, like where the Marines would land. They would be ahead of them, kind of guiding them and like sweeping for mines and shit. So it was never anything cool. But the whole book's about this the ship gets a new captain, and you kind of over the course of the book, he starts to kind of like lose his mind. not really lose his mind, but he already has some character flaws, and he's quick to blame others for issues that he himself causes. And eventually, the crew of the ship decide to relieve him of command. And in the book, it's played a little bit like, the guy was, he made a mistake, but it was a big part of it's the legal defense, because if you do a mutiny on a naval ship, if you relieve somebody of command, you have to prove yourself in a court martial that it was legal, and that's a big part of the movie and the book. But anyways, that's just all to say that the movie's it's very technical. There's not a lot of action. It's very much a drama, but it's a World War II drama, and what's really cool about it is it was filmed on an actual in-service World War II destroyer, because it was in the 50s, so they still had one in service. So they have shots in it where it's going under the Golden Gate Bridge and stuff, and those were filmed for the movie. But yeah, just movies like that, I love them. I go for them so much.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I don't know, the way you describe that movie, I'm not sure if I'd like it. I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a drama pretty much.
It's a prodding movie. It's not an action movie.
Yeah, it's definitely not. There's bits of action, but it's 50s action where it's mostly implied. They're in battles and stuff, but you don't see, the guns going off or anything like that. Most of it's actually about back in World War II, towards the end of the war, there was a big typhoon. It was one of the biggest typhoons, kind of in the Pacific at the time, that was recorded. I might be wrong there, but whatever fleet Halsey was in, I don't fucking remember. The guy who wrote the book was who was in Admiral Halsey's fleet. I don't remember which fleet it was, but they got hit really bad by that tropical storm, and that storm fucking tore up the fleet, and that was before the end of the war. It was one of the biggest disasters of the U.S. Navy. It sunk a lot of destroyers and stuff, and that's a big part of the movie. Is that's what happens, and that's when they relieve him from command, because he's making really dumb decisions and stuff. But yeah, so it's not really a big actiony movie. It's mostly, like I said, just kind of drama and plot action, stuff like that. Military procedural.
So what you would say, if an action movie was a porno, this would be softcore porn?
In a way, yes.
You're not going to see it, baby, but you're going to see the waves moving, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's right.
Interesting. If you pick something like that, I'd give it a shot. I don't think Cody would, but I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a
like I said, it's from
Cody's
the 50s. Listening
to
this, editing it. Cody's probably listening to this, editing. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't like that.
He's like, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, it's from the 50s, so like I said, it's pretty dated. Well, I mean, it's pretty cool, from the perspective of it being so close to the 40s. Like I said, that a lot of that the Navy that is in there, because they have naval people. The Navy had a helping hand in the movie. So that's really what's cool, is just kind of see how they procedurally do shit back then, which is really interesting. Look. But either way, that's neither here nor there.
But it's over there,
But it is over there.
All right. Let me check to see where I left off. No. Anyway. We were talking about those movies, World War II. Okay. So, when I made a comment a couple episodes ago, I can't remember which one it was, because we record these things every 2 weeks. Spoiler alert. A little peek behind the curtain.
What's up this one?
How the magic's made, baby.
We recorded our last episode
about
last week.
Yeah. No, I didn't. It was 2 weeks ago.
Wait. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was 2 weeks ago.
Damn, you're right, I think.
Yeah, no, I am right, because I haven't turned my computer on in 2 weeks. I had to do an update. But anyway, so this movie, I made a comment about a gateway. They made not jokes. You used to think marijuana was the gateway drug. Sometimes you listen to a band and it introduces you to a whole genre of music, and you're like, oh man, that's cool. And that band is your gateway to that new genre of music.
My gateway.
But this movie was my gateway to Clint Eastwood movies in general. Like I watched this, and I watched Commando, which you weren't on that episode, but that was my gateway to Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Was just Commando. It's fucking awesome. But Cody, you're getting me distracted. Hold on. But yeah, so Commando was the first movie of Arnold Schwarzenegger that I liked. I'm like, okay, that's really good. And then obviously Predator. Yeah. But this movie is the first one of Clint Eastwood movies that made me give other Clint Eastwood movies a chance. Like The Dirty Dozen. Not Dirty Dozen. Kelly's Heroes.
Dirty Dancing.
And Dirty Dancing. Batman. What's really funny is I don't know if I've seen the Tim Burton Batman and Dirty Dancing all the way through, so I'm going to make that joke. It's fun.
Yeah, I've never seen Tim Burton's Batman, but I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah, and the Batman animated series you're watching is
kind of
like
based off
spiritual sequel, to it, Yeah. So, which is cool. Anywho, I'm this is the first movie. I'm like, okay, I like this, I get this, and it was only the first watch that I started liking this movie. So it's one of those things where I'm extremely fortunate to have seen this movie when I was younger, and I liked it. Again, this is probably like one of those gateway movies into watching older movies instead of watching like Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
And this movie came out in '86, and like Ninja Turtles 2 came out like '91, so it's like a 5-year difference. But I wasn't paying attention to like movies and the times that came out at the time.
Secret of the Coos.
It's the Secret of the Coochie. But this movie was written by James Cabaret.
I got you. Hold on, wait. I got you. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure it.
James Carabatzos.
Yes, Carabatzos. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. So, he doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So I guess he didn't write that many movies. And is directed and produced by Clint Eastwood and stars Clint Eastwood. And stars quite a few other people.
He wrote Hamburger Hill.
Only people
I think.
Oh, did he? Okay. Screenwriter James Carabatzos is a Vietnam veteran of the 1st Cavalry Division and was inspired by an account of American paratroopers of the 82 Airborne Division. Is that in Fort Bragg, North Carolina? Used a payphone and a credit card to call in fire support during an invasion of Grenada and fashioned a script of a Korean War veteran, Army non-commissioned officer passing on his values to a new generation of soldiers. Eastwood was interested in the script and asked his producer, Fritz Maines, to contact the U.S. Army with a filming of the movie at Fort Bragg. Now, this movie was originally set as an Army movie. The Army said no. They read the script. They didn't want to be anything part of it.
Yeah, they didn't like
the harsh language.
They didn't like that. Even the Marines didn't like the harsh language. They disowned this movie after viewing the first cut. But the Army,
but they actually provided the initial support and let him film at one of their bases.
Yeah. They let him film at Camp Pendleton, which is kind of where 1st Marine Division is headquartered, as far as I remember.
No, you're 100% right. You know what's funny? The Marines plan to use this movie to promote its Toys for Tots campaign, but upon viewing the first
that's so funny to me.
Disowned the film.
I read that shit too. I found out. I didn't know Toys for Tots was a Marine organization. Like I didn't think that was something ran by the Marines. So that was.
I didn't either. I thought for some reason it was Army, but
I thought it was. I thought it was just something like the Salvation Army, where it's like just something completely unrelated, just some kind of volunteer thing. But yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, well, we still do it. I think we used to do Toys for Tots at the store.
Yeah.
So I think I'd seen a military guy pick up the box, so I figured it was a military thing.
All right.
Now here's the thing. I'm gonna go because this movie is Clint Eastwood's character is Sergeant Gunny Highway.
Yeah. Is
a Marine. And obviously, the Battle of Heartbreak Ridge was between the U.S. Army and
North Korea,
and China. Well, they had to change it to a Marine.
Yeah, because they have a hand wave line in there. He's like, we were with the 23rd Infantry Regiment or some shit like that. Then we became Marines.
Sergeant Major Chuzu, he tells Stitch Jones, which is one of the characters we're going to get into, that he and Highway were in the Army's 23rd Infantry Regiment at the time and joined the Corps later. The 23rd Regiment was at Heartbreak Ridge. Yeah. So that's how they kind of like was able to put it together. But, you know, to be honest with you, if the Army was cool with this movie, they wouldn't have had to bone that line into it.
Dude, Elvis was in the Army during the 50s. Korea was during the 50s. There's Heartbreak Ridge. Elvis had Heartbreak Hotel. I'm thinking,
do you think he built the hotel on the ridge?
Yeah. So I'm saying there's a connection there, dude.
Well, there's an uncut version of this movie, and in that line when Chuzu tells Stitch Jones there's only 3 of us standing. The original line was there's only 4 of us standing. Myself, Stoney Jackson, Gunny Highway, and Elvis Presley.
Hell yeah, dude. Elvis was kicking ass and taking names, dude.
Here's another thing. Marines who viewed this film cited numerous issues with the way they were portrayed.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said it before we recorded. There's it's definitely very Hollywood. You could tell this movie kind of came out before we have got, you know, because like I was telling Lance earlier, we have shit now like Generation Kill and I guess the first Jarhead. I'm trying to think of other ones that are really good and accurate. But, you know, I think, you know, the audience, the movie-going audience, you have a lot of options to you for really realistic depictions of Marines. And I think, was Platoon before this?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so maybe, I guess Platoon beats this one, kind of in terms of realism. But, you know, for a Hollywood movie during the 80s,
Platoon came out the same year.
Okay.
This one came out December 1986. No, this came out before Platoon.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we hadn't even got Platoon yet, which Platoon is kind of a big deal for a lot of people. It being considered like, you know, one of the first like really realistic kind of depictions of what it's like. Because even shit like Apocalypse Now, sure shit isn't, you know, like realistically depicting how it is in the military.
No, that's going for that fucking epic.
Yeah, it's like LSD mixed with like an old 19th century, you know, novel, all sorts of shit
mixed with Marlon Brando.
Yeah. like I said,
a big back in the archives, people.
A big part of Generation Kill is go back and listen to Apocalypse Now. It's the 2nd episode. But yeah, I mean, a big part of the military is just like, you know, sitting around doing fucking nothing, or, you know, waiting to do something. So, you know, I think this movie was pretty good for the time it came out, and kind of depicting post-Vietnam era military. You know, I'm a never served, so take my shit with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, I think it was okay for what it was.
Well, I think it was great for what it was. This is my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, as a movie, I'm not disputing that. I think it's a good movie. I like Clint Eastwood's character. Hell, I like all the characters. I'm just saying that, like, you know, there's situations in this and like the way sometimes they speak and stuff that isn't going to be completely accurate to the military. And I mean, it's a movie. Nobody really, unless you really want something super gritty, like I said, Generation Kill sets out to do that. And it definitely alienates some people who watch it. You know, you're not really going to get that. But like,
I know. And this movie is like, if you take the Hollywood tropes of a drill sergeant and put it into a movie that's trying to be kind of gritty and realistic.
Yeah.
You know, and to be honest with you, I don't know if you would put like a gritty, realistic movie like that and put Clint Eastwood in it, that people wouldn't expect Clint Eastwood to act like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Clint Eastwood has a character like assigned to him pretty much. He typecasts himself.
But it fucking works, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this movie is like a great 80s movie. You know what I mean? Like, it feels very 80s. And there's
100%. I love it.
And there's something very comfy. There's something very comfy about it being, you know, such an 80s movie. You know?
Oh, yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of the language that wouldn't hold up to today. Cause, you know,
yeah, there's definitely some.
Correct.
A lot of people would be upset.
Correct, you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But this is, I think, It's funny. Like I read through a lot of YouTube comments on some videos. There's not a lot of videos of people reacting or reviewing this movie. Like there would be like most Clint Eastwood movies. Like there's probably like 100 videos of people just reacting to Unforgiven.
Yeah.
This one had like maybe 2, and I listened to them all because I was kind of gauging their reaction. I looked at some of the comments, and a lot of the people, I'd say a lot, most of the comments I saw that mentioned that their father was either in the Army or the Marines or some kind of thing. They said they watched it, and their dad came out of the video, or their uncle out of the movie theater, or their uncle, and they said they did a pretty good job portraying a Marine soldier right there. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a thing I have Cody put in this episode, and it's the cadence that I love so much in this movie.
Or a handful of ass, or a handful of pussy and a face full of ass.
No, it goes, it's like, Model A Ford and a tank full of gas, and then he goes, handful of pussy and a mouthful of ass. And they sing it in front of the woman, and it's fucking great. And she laughs at it, too. The movie has got so many fucking one-liners.
Oh, yeah, the dialogue is pretty good in
this. This is the movie I got the word clusterfuck from. Yeah. When I say clusterfuck, I get it 100% from this fucking movie. And Panther piss and shit like that. He just puts, like, curse words together in this movie that just doesn't fucking, your brain can't do it all. Like, I've tried to quote this movie myself, like, just in normal conversations with my dad, and I fuck up every time. I can't do what he does. But like I said, 1 or 2 things. Clint Eastwood plays Gunnery Sergeant Tom Honway. Marsha Mason, who was a actress who was nominated 4 times for the Academy Award for Cinderella, Liberty, The Goodbye Girl, Chapter 2.
Is she his ex-wife, or are they just, like, split up?
That's his ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah. She is, let's see if there's anybody else that's worth noticing. Mario Van Peebles plays Stitch Jones.
Mario.
He actually is in, I think, Jaws 3. I remember seeing him one time.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's the Jamaican guy. He's got dreadlocks in that movie.
Uh-huh. I think I've seen this guy, like, in a couple movies and stuff, but barely remember him.
Private Swede Johansson. That's like I say, you can get on Wikipedia, people. This is where we get my information. I mean, a lot of these people I never saw in other movies again. And I'm not trying to discredit them and their contribution. It's just not of interest to me right now. But Private Swede Johansson, who's that big motherfucker, is a former football player named Peter Coach. And he played for my team, the Kansas City Chiefs, in the 80s, which is pretty dope. And I looked at his filmography, because he only played football for like 4 or 5 years and then got out, I'm assuming because of injury. But this was his first movie. But his last acting credit, he played in a show that was an American sitcom called Enlisted. And it only ran 13 episodes. It ran on Fox. But his character in that show is called The Swede. So I'm assuming that's a nod to being Swede Johansson in Heartbreak Ridge, which is pretty cool.
The Swede.
But other than that, let's see here. We talked about the production of it. You know, Eastwood got paid $6 million to direct and act in this movie.
Yeah. I think I heard something through the grapevine that, like, this movie was kind of part of the reason why now most military movies that involve the military, like, if they want funding and help from the military, like, the military is very hands-on now. Kind of like with Top Gun and shit like that. I think this movie was partly because of that, because the Marines helped them out throughout the movie, and when they finally got the cut, you know, like I said, they did not like it. So that's why it
was great
when you watch shit like the only other Marine movie I can think of is like Battle at LA. I don't know if you've ever seen Battle at LA.
No, I haven't.
It's like a 2012 like it's a really dumb movie. Basically, where like a squad of Marines basically stop like a whole alien invasion. It's kind of like Independence Day. I bet Independence Day probably got help from the Marines too. Just kind of, you know, dumb shit like that.
Yeah, I got you. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that was something that happened. Let me see if there's anything. Hold on.
Yeah, that kind of stuff happens all the time. But of course, there's always movies, like Apocalypse Now or Full Metal Jacket. Sure shit, didn't get any help. Just stuff like that.
You watched this movie, Cody, on HBO Max, right?
You said Cody. Do you mean Owen?
Oh, Cody, my bad. Owen, my bad.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well, right now, this movie ranks... supposedly, this article was written 2 weeks ago. And it said that Heartbreak Ridge, as reported by Flix Patrol, reports that the war drama has landed itself as the 8th most popular movie on HBO Max right now. So at least it's getting some love right now. And the movie, for the small budget this movie had, let me see here. It had a $15 million budget. The box office was $121.7 million. So it made a good chunk of money. And this movie has... Now, I've mentioned before, my dad's father was a Vietnam soldier. He was a paratrooper. And I've seen pictures of him. I never met the man. He died 6 years before I was born. But my dad always has this kind of like closeness because he was with his dad when his dad died, and he always brings it up in a loving way that he wished he had more time with his dad. And he didn't get many war stories because you don't get a lot of war stories from Vietnam vets because a lot of them just kind of keep it inside. It's just a lot of bad shit, And
there's this one. I thought about. There's a scene. I'll let you continue. Just don't let me forget about this. There's a.
I'll go ahead and bring it up. It's cool.
Okay. I'll just hurry up then. So there's a scene later on in the movie where they get into the bulldozer to kind of, get closer to the guys that are like suppressing them or whatever.
That's based on a real thing that happened in the Battle of Grenada too.
Oh, okay, cool. There's so my boss at work always tells me he knew this guy. This Mississippi redneck, or I think he was from Arkansas. So he's this Arkansas redneck who was in Vietnam, and he would always tell the story of he was a combat engineer, so he actually drove around in bulldozers and stuff like that. And it's kind of a fucked up story, so I don't know if Cody, like upon listening to it, might think, or after you hear it, you might think it might need to be cut. But so what he would do was he would go in the bulldozer and he'd be like, yeah, I'd get shot at sometimes, and I'd pull my pistol out, open the door and shoot it from there, and sometimes guys would fall, Vietnamese like NVA soldiers or Viet Cong soldiers would fall into the way, and he was like, yeah, I would just run them over. And then my boss was asking him, he was like, well, don't you think you're gonna have to answer for all those people you killed? And he's like, what do you mean, like with God? And then my boss is like, yeah. And he's like, what do you mean? God was on our side. So
that's just their attitude on it, man.
Yeah, especially I don't know for like some redneck from Arkansas. I thought that was
pretty funny.
Story was pretty funny. If a little fucked up,
Oh, I get it. That attitude, though, God's on your side. And there's a funny sequence when Clint Eastwood's character goes into the barracks for the first time, and he throws the fucking stereo against the wall and it busts, and he goes, I'm Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway. And he's like, I'm your new commander. He's just ripping these guys to shred, and he grabs a cue stick.
Yeah, and he breaks it off.
And he's like, God loves you. And the guy goes, I know that. And he goes, you men do not impress me. And he just breaks the motherfucker, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I like the guy that says...
Eastwood, like, the voice he does is amazing.
I like the guy that says recon platoon kicks butt.
Yeah, that guy's name is Profile.
Oh, yeah.
He's the biggest dork, and he's fucking great.
He dies. He's the only one who dies. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I remember my dad telling me when we first watched the movie, he's like, yeah, he ends up dying. And I'm like, no, that sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
My dad always fucked with me,
Yeah, it feels like it wouldn't happen, too, because, like I said, like, hour and 30 minutes of this movie has nothing to do with war. So it's kind of like, what?
And all of a sudden, it's like, what the fuck? This thing turns into an actual real fucking war?
Yeah.
I just got done watching Commando and Predator, man. The good guys don't die. This don't fucking happen,
Yeah.
But this movie is let's see. Chuzu, which is his buddy in the movie, you get introduced probably about 20 minutes into. My dad always said when he watched this movie, he always says that this guy reminded him of his dad.
Yeah.
And the pictures when his dad had of him. Because my dad's got quite a few pictures that were sent to him from his aunts that were either newspaper clippings or just photos of his dad had of him being a paratrooper. And he does look like Chuzu. The guy who plays Chuzu looks like what my granddad would look like.
Okay.
And so I always brought it to it. And then there's that scene where after Tom Highway gets his papers to go back to his original precincts, I guess you want to call it. And they play taps as they're taking the flag down. He stands in attention, and he does that. And my dad always reminds him, he says, of his dad's funeral because they played taps for his dad's funeral and did the 21 gun salute and everything.
Yeah, I've been to a military funeral also.
So yeah. But it's like a lot of guys in the military, they get buried in military cemeteries, like my papa will be, which is my dad's stepdad. Well, my dad's dad was buried in a family cemetery, so he wasn't buried like with other military soldiers and all that.
Yeah.
So, other than that, so yeah, this movie's got a little bit like connection. I have a soft spot in my heart for this movie because of like my dad's connection to this movie. But I'm trying to remember. Like I said, this movie, the plot isn't. I will say this if I'm critiquing the movie fairly. The plot isn't consistent. It floats between, humorous interactions between this super serious soldier who's trying to kick his platoon's ass just to get them in shape. He's doing it in a way to make sure they're not going to get killed in the next war.
He's hard on them because he loves them.
Well, I don't even think he loves them. He's hard on them because he loves his job.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interesting interactions. This movie is a Clint Eastwood like vehicle. Like this movie is him, and the other characters are just along for the ride. And the only one that really stands out is Stitch Jones, which is played by what is that dude's name again? Mario Peoples.
Yeah,
I think
Mario.
Mario Van Peebles. And Stitch Jones. Everybody else, don't really stand out. You got the bad guy, which is...
I don't get how that guy's... Do they call him a corporal in that movie? Like, in the movie, do they call him corporal?
Who? Stitch Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they call him corporal.
How the
Stitch
fuck
Jones.
did he make corporal? Like, he's such a shitbag.
I know. I have no fucking idea, dude.
Like, damn.
Let's see here. Who is the fucking bad guy?
Oh yeah, he is a corporal. I always watch like the movie on quiet and like at 2x speed whenever we're doing the podcast, and he just popped up and I saw his little rank insignia on his collar. So okay, you would recognize. You've watched shit. What is this fucking thing? What is he known for? You watched Twin Peaks, right? Yes.
Okay, you remember a character named Big Ed Hurley?
Yes, I do.
Big Ed Hurley is played by Everett McGill. He is
Big
Major Malcolm Powers in this movie.
Oh shit! No way, he is. I have to find.
Yep.
I have to find it and look at it. Damn. I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Shit, he is Big Ed. The funny thing is Big Ed in Twin Peaks is like the most likable guy like ever. Like, he's like a fan favorite, pretty much, because of how likable he is. It's really funny. He's such a dick in this.
Oh, yeah. Well, that guy, he plays bad guys. He played the bad guy in... This is a movie I'm going to pick eventually. Not this one, because it's part 2, but the original one. Under Siege 2, The Dark Territory, which is a Steven Seagal movie. The first one's, like, fucking awesome, because it's got Tom Lee Jones and fucking... What's that crazy guy from The Lethal Weapon? Oh my god, the blonde hair guy with the fucking big gappy teeth. Fuck, what's his name? I don't want to look it up, dude. Come on, help me out. What's his name?
Shit, I got it.
No, don't look it up. Don't look it up. We got this shit.
I will never. I can guarantee you.
I will. Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. I didn't even fucking know Gary Busey was in Lethal Weapon. I don't remember.
He's the blonde hair guy, Joshua. Remember the one he fights at the end of the movie?
Yes, I kind of.
You don't.
No, I don't really remember. I know who Gary Busey is.
Yeah, Gary Busey's in that. Gary Busey's also in a bunch of other shit. But Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones is Under Siege. It's the best Steven Seagal movie of all time because of those guys being the bad guys.
Yeah.
But this movie, we'll get back to this movie. But yeah, that guy, I just fucking read his name. I can't remember it now. Oh, Everett McGill. He was played a bunch of little movies. Played in Dune, 1984, Silver Bullet, which is a Stephen King adaptation. Heartbreak Ridge, License to Kill, which is Steven Seagal. People Under the Stairs. And obviously he played Twin Peaks. He retired from acting in 99, but returned for the revival of Twin Peaks. So his acting thing goes from 72 to 99 and from 2015 to 2017.
Yeah. He was old as shit in the Twin Peaks revival.
And Luke Webster, which is the brown-nosing, kiss-ass staff sergeant.
Yeah, it's the fucking first platoon sergeant or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and his name is Moses Gunn. Is the guy who plays him. He's an award-winning stage actor and very prominent actor on Broadway. It looks like, but he there's a great line because, like I said, he there's a lot of words I can't say from this movie quoting it, but there's a line where he's talking about. Major Powers is building an elite fighting machine or whatever. And then Clint Eastwood goes, Webster, if he ever comes to an abrupt halt, your nose will go halfway up his ass. And I'm like, there's just a lot of great shit in this fucking movie, man. But yeah, this movie is just, you see that Clint Eastwood's character, Tom Highway, he's in jail for drunk orderly misconduct. Yeah. He was pissing on a squad car, and I love his reactions to stuff. Like as the judge is reading off his charges, he goes urinating on the patrol car, and then Clint Eastwood looks at the woman who's doing the where they're typing out every word said in court, and he looks back at the judge. He goes, "Well, it seemed like the thing to do, sir."
And then she goes,
"Yeah." And it's funny, like he always like. In this movie, it's a running little theme that, he says it's always something improper when a woman's around.
And then like the ladies go,
yeah, they always laugh. And then, the other major who's going to, transfer him out says, you used to get, in trouble with this. And he goes, yeah, it is true. I've had my trouble with some limp dicks. And the woman walks by. It's
some limp dicks.
And then of course the cadence when the woman's around, like there's just a lot of funny shit in this movie. But Clint Eastwood, it just goes through him getting back to it. There's a lot of humorous interactions with him and Van Peebles or whatever his name is. Mario Van Peebles has the most screen time as a co-star. And, he steals money from Tom. It's great. He steals money from him. He ends up getting caught because he's joined the Marines. There's, the time jump doesn't really specify how much time's gone in it because it feels like this dude just joined the Marines and he's already a corporal.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, he's also a huge dickhead. I don't know how the fuck he would become an NCO when he's such a shitbag. But it's whatever. It's no big deal.
Yeah, it's not intruding on the plot. You're like, this doesn't seem realistic. But it's very, like I said, the movie is, you have humorous interactions with that. He sees his ex-wife, and I guess he's trying to either revisit old times or trying to move on with his life because he knows he's at mandatory retirement age. Yeah. And then, like I said, there's a lot of good, the best parts of the movie are his interaction with his ex-wife, Maggie. And
I think the best parts of the movie were just him berating, or not berating, but whipping the boys into shape. Those were the parts of the movie I liked.
I'm going to say that because I know that's what Robert Ebert said that was the best parts about this movie. Was
yeah. There is kind of
I enjoy everything about.
There's a fun juxtaposition to that. He's so good, and I mean, it's kind of a classic, character thing, especially with gruff, guys, especially the kinds that Clint Eastwood plays, where they have a troubled love life, even though they get what they want, in their career. And they're so gruff and non bullshit, take no bullshit kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, you get away with it when you're this deep into your career as Clint Eastwood is at this point, because the first movie he did was the third Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was like early 50s. So at this point, he's been in Hollywood for at least 30 years. And he's been established as this kind of gruff character, and you don't know if Clint Eastwood is playing Clint Eastwood on screen or if he's playing different characters. He feels like Denzel Washington. Like, you watch Denzel Washington, I've seen a lot of people online criticize Denzel Washington being like a one-note actor. Like, he's not a great actor. He's great at playing Denzel Washington. And I don't think that's a bad thing if that is the way you look at it, because Clint Eastwood plays Clint Eastwood. John Wayne plays John Wayne. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Arnold Schwarzenegger, And I think Eastwood does a great fucking job with this movie. Like, it's for what it is. And like I said, I know some people would watch and be like, well, this movie is kind of inconsistent with its tone. Yeah, but you're not watching a Hollywood classic. This is technically like a B movie at this point. And it's fucking incredible. Like,
Yeah, it's still definitely
to make that kind of money, for like a $15 million budget for 1986, it's pretty fucking well done. But in the plot, the movie, Major Powers is a newly transferred, it feels like, guy from Supply. So he wants to do everything in an orderly, efficient manner because of he just seems like somebody who wants to do it by the book, but he's also trying to stack the deck against Tom Highway. It's kind of fucked up, but it's also kind of interesting because Tom Highway always gets the upper hand. Like I said, there's a lot of good interactions with that. The training sessions with the soldiers, like you said, was really fucking great. His scenes with his wife are really good. I would say the weakest part of the movie is probably the actual Battle of Grenada.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. They're not very... It's very...
straightforward.
It kind of seems like and I mean, definitely for budgetary reasons, it's not. It seems kind of like a TV show. Like, it seems like something you would see in Miami Vice, like an action scene from Miami Vice, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree with that. Which is fine. Like I said.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like I said, I mean, you just have to take into consideration the kind of budget they were working with, and I mean, that's not entirely what this movie's about.
Yeah. And like I said, the movie, a lot of people would say, like, if you're, like, this movie has a hard time finding out what it is, which I think is part of its charm. Like, it does everything either good or great. There's no bad parts in this movie. There's nothing I would say that's, like, terribly fucking boring. It's not a fucking, like, grade A blockbuster.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like, my girlfriend wouldn't like this, Savannah. Cody wouldn't like this. I don't think Jacob would like this. I think Alex would kind of like it, but then again, he might not. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I thought you might like it, but I didn't know for sure. And, I definitely recommend the movie. I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way. I think it's worth a watch. I think if you want to have fun with it, don't go into it with 2023 eyes and ears, because you will get offended by a lot of the things that are said.
It's definitely...
But this is a different life, It's like, I grew up... Hell, I mean, and back in 2000, they don't make... when I was still in high school, they still talk shit like this.
Yeah, and even when I was a kid as well. But, and they definitely don't make movies kind of like this anymore where, America is like the undisputed good guy. It's definitely from an 80s perspective.
It's almost like that last hurrah of American patriotism, like someone who is a stone cold Republican would champion this fucking movie because they think that's what the militaries are like.
Yeah, from the Reagan era. It's funny how in the 80s it's like we had Vietnam had kind of killed off a lot of like kind of typical patriotism and kind of stuff like that. And then the 80s happened, and that was a big thing. From like G.I. Joe to stuff like this. And I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of refreshing, I guess, to see it even from like a modern perspective.
It's comfy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, it's a comfortable movie when you watch it. A lot of stuff from the 80s for me is comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's not...
and I was born in 88. This movie was made 2 years before I was born.
Yeah,
so I'm not
I was born...
saying, like, this is what I grew up with.
Like a decade after the 80s had happened. So... even to me, the 80s are comfy. There's a simplicity to it. There's not a lot of cynicism. And even when there is, it's kind of, I don't know, the good guys still win. That's a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah. Well, it's like, these movies are very black and white. There's not a lot of, like, when I say realism, I mean, like, everyday life is just a shade of gray, where it's hard to pick out, like, okay, this is what I want to do today, or this is what I have to get done. It's just a lot of, like, life can be very depressing. These movies in the 80s was still very, like, it was a renewed, like, okay, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. The bad guys are going to be cool, but the good guys are going to be just as cool, but they're trying to do good or something like that. I don't know how to really describe it. Like, I'm kind of, like, walking around a toilet bowl right now with my words. Hey, it's a callback. But I think this movie is, like, very just comfy when you watch it. And if you just watch it because you're like that, if you're somebody who's highly offended, you will be offended by this movie, by the words that are uttered. Yeah. But I feel like if you were in the military from, at any point in the military, even now, I feel like when you get people who are away from, like, their phones or shit being recorded, I feel like there's still talk like this going on in real life. Yeah. So, other than that, like I said, the plot isn't super thick. I know I didn't go through it like beat by beat like I wanted to. But it's just he's training a new regiment of soldiers. There's a lot of interactions about. You see a lot of his character kind of get like you're peeling an onion back. You're seeing more layers to his
like
character.
An ogre.
Everybody else don't have. Yeah, he's like an ogre. But there's not a lot of layers to the other characters, and that's okay. This is a Clint Eastwood movie. This is a Clint Eastwood vehicle that's being driven by Clint Eastwood.
Exactly.
And it's fucking great,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. Owen, do you recommend this movie?
I do recommend this movie. I think
Hell yeah.
Like I said, it was comfy to watch. I do like my military movies a bit more gritty, and a bit more kind of crazy, typically. Not crazy, but I don't know, more bleak, I guess. But, I do find a lot of times these kind of classic ones, kind of like this, very refreshing. Especially in an era where it's always, I don't know. Like I said, nowadays, every good hero has to be like an anti-villain, or not an anti-villain, but like an anti-hero, I mean. And, they always have to be...
Anti-villain.
Yeah, they always have to be like, the bad guy, the authorities keeping me down and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's good to kind of go back to what feels like a simpler time and just kind of watch something like this.
Yeah, a simpler mindset. I don't think... I always like that old saying, like, it was back to a simpler time. I don't think life was ever simple.
No, it never was.
I think it's just I think it's just a simpler mindset.
People like to watch, it's like kind of like how in the 40s, like in old westerns from then, the protagonist is never like an outlaw or like a bounty hunter. He's always like a sheriff, People liked that, and it's not like the 40s didn't have crazy shit and fucked up shit going on. It's just, I don't know. People change. Now everybody's cynical and everything's ironic. Nobody can be genuine.
Yeah.
So.
And when you're genuine, you get made fun of.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when it's like, all the, I would say, smaller, from a, the general view, every group of society feels like they're being oppressed by a majority, a controlling majority, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you try to be open and honest about something, you're going to get made fun of regardless by some faceless person online. So it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah, it's just like an Olympics.
This whole this bullshit that Twitter or social media says, we're all in this together and we're here to support you. No, you're fucking not.
It's a race.
Life keeps going on.
Yeah, it's a race to the bottom to be whoever's the most pissed off or the most, I don't know, ironic or whatever. I don't know. It's just tiring.
I gotta make the first meme.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get out of here, what is, if you can say it, what is your favorite line from this movie?
I do think it's the cadence that we said earlier. That stuck with me because I went to Walmart after I watched this movie and I was thinking that while I was walking around Walmart. I was like, hell yeah, dude.
I'm gonna have Cody. I'm gonna download that. I'm gonna have Cody put that in this episode.
Handful of pussy, mouthful of ass,
and a mouthful of ass. I love the fucking song that they play at the beginning of this movie. Like you see like the black and white
the footage
of
from Korea. Yeah. I like that segment.
It plays that song and it plays
it was kind of like sobering at the end where it's kind of like just showing like the kids and stuff and like. I don't know. It's kind of like, shit, dude. Like, what kind of movie am I in for? And then it's kind of like,
I know it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Heartbreak Ridge song. What song is
that? Footage was cool. I could literally just watch.
It's called Sea of Heartbreak.
Yeah. It starts playing that music. That footage was cool. But I say that as a dork who like literally sits around and just watches fucking like World War II footage with no sound. just to see what the guys are doing. Like, I just find that really fascinating. So it was cool.
It is. There's a line. Okay, I got two lines for you, and it's like when he's interacting with Maggie's boyfriend at the bar. He goes, "I'll send you home with I just pumped the neighbor's cat look on your face." I don't even know what the fuck that means, but it's fucking hilarious the way he delivers.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really good insults and stuff.
They're like, one guy goes, when he gets introduced to the soldiers, and the one guy goes, "We can take care of ourselves." He goes, "You couldn't take care of a wet dream."
Yeah.
And there's another one where Mario is holding his hand because it's when he gets blown up by the shot from the cannon,
Mm-hmm.
And they run out there like, "Gunny, you okay, Gunny?" He's like, "Gunny," and he opens his eyes, and Mario's like holding his hand. He goes, "Jones, just because we're holding hands doesn't mean we're going to take warm showers for the wee hours of the morning." And then my favorite line in this movie, the character that Owen was referencing earlier is named Profile. He's the big, tall, goofy, awkward-looking individual in this movie. And he's a lot of these characters are comic relief, but he's very comic relief. And he thinks his gun is jammed, and he accidentally shoots off at the Major Powers by accident. So as punishment, as the other soldiers are marching back to the barracks, he's running around the entire group with his gun held up his head. And they're like, "He's not going to make it, man."
Yeah.
And then he falls down, and then you hear it. You can listen to it carefully. When you first watch it, like I first watched this on VHS when I was a kid, and you watch it on VHS, you can't really hear what he says, but you can hear it clearly. And he says something, and then Profile goes, "Recon!" And he runs back and starts doing what he's doing. Well, Major comes up to Tom Highway and goes, "What did you say to him?" And he goes, "I said, don't give the prick the satisfaction, sir." This movie is just chock full of one-liners, and they're fucking incredible. Like, if you watch this movie and you enjoy it, you'll be thinking about some of the shit Clint Eastwood says in this movie, without a doubt. It's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
though, if that ever happened where that guy, like, shot down the firing line, dude, like, he would get his ass kicked. Like, he would be beat. Like, I mean, there would be no running like that. He would get his like just ass kicked.
That's funny. Yeah. Like I said, I'm glad you enjoyed this movie though.
Yeah.
Like I was hoping you would, and it's not like
my
turns into the war movie the last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But
even that didn't bother me. I mean, I thought it was cool. Like you get to see some actual, cool shit like sea knights fucking going around, and you get to see the USS Quezon and shit. Like all that shit's cool to me. But that's because, like I said, I'm a fucking like military dork. I like shit like that. My second favorite character was the nerdy lieutenant.
Oh yeah, that guy. He's like,
he's like, I was the commander of my ROTC.
I love that shit, man. He's like,
that's one of my favorite dynamics, like reading about in the military and shit. Like it's just like the junior officers and the senior enlisted. Like it's so funny to me, like that you have, you know, the lieutenant who is like 23, is in charge of like the platoon. But, you know, the first sergeant, not the first sergeant, the staff sergeant or the gunny sergeant is the, you know, NCO of the platoon. And he's like fucking, you know, 25 years or 20 years into his career. You know, I don't know. It's just such a funny dynamic to me.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking. It's like, you know, he went to college and, you know, war educated.
Yeah.
Gunny Highway, you know. So, like I said, it's, you know, it's got a lot of good dynamics. They're not super deep. They are entertaining, and they do. It's almost like everything's a peek into Clint Eastwood's character, Tom Highway. You don't get a full grasp of the character in a good way. Like it's, you know, it's very straightforward as a character, but you do get grasp. You do see glimpses of the depth of his character. So, you know, like I said, this is a fun movie. This isn't something super serious that people should go into thinking like this is going to be some war epic. This is not a war epic. This is a 80s war movie, and it's very unapologetic what it is. And it's a good story too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
It is based on, like, there are some true events that were taken from real life to put into this movie, like the Battle of Grenada, that you know, you were talking about that shot where he gets into the bulldozer.
Yeah.
That actually happened. That was rumored to have happened, so they took that from the story.
And of course, the payphone thing was an 82nd Airborne paratrooper.
Yep. Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
I like how a lot of the shit,
which is also
a lot of the stuff was. I like how a lot of the the stories and shit have just been co-opted from the Army and just given to the Marines in this movie.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty fucking funny, and it's like, you know, like I said, my grandfather was a paratrooper, so they talk about the paratroopers in this movie, and then you see that shot where they do that practice run, and they all jump out of the plane like that. And my dad always talks about that, like that scene in this movie. You know, it's like that's what my dad did for all those years. You know, his dad was in the Army for quite a few years. So, anyway, like I said, we both recommend this movie, Heartbreak Ridge. You got HBO Max, watch it. It's great.
Yeah.
Owen, is you're the next movie, right, Owen?
I do have the next movie, I think. Yeah, I guess I do.
All right, well, let me know, Daddy-O, what's the movie?
Shit, it's gonna be American Psycho.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That movie's funny.
It has some moments, that's for sure. And Christian Bale's great in the movie. So
yeah.
And there's a great epic scene in this movie where you have Batman versus Morbius.
Morpheus. So. Oh yeah, he fucking cuts. He's like, hey. I forget what his character's name is.
Joel, maybe?
Nah, it's something else. I don't remember what it is. But that scene is iconic, even. Yeah,
iconic.
It is iconic, even. It's like, what do you have, a little dog around here or something? No.
That is funny because he's got newspaper everywhere.
He's like, what's with all the newspapers? I have to return some videotapes. So
it's gonna be great. I've seen that movie a couple times. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, we recommend Heartbreak Ridge. We're watching American Psycho next. I'm not sure what the fuck Cody's gonna pick. Yes. Probably something Evil Dead, some stupid shit like
Evil
that.
Head. Did you watch?
Oh,
you didn't watch the last Evil Dead. I forgot.
No, I didn't. I wasn't on that episode because you fuckers didn't tell anybody I was on the episode.
We were.
Y'all just get right into it. This movie's great. I know. I love it. Let's talk about it. Okay. I'm sure Cody's gonna cut that part out.
That's what happened.
There's a fucking that new one still got really good reviews. I mean, I really don't have a desire to go to a movie theater to watch.
Everybody likes that new one.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that
fucking Halloween movie
remake one.
Ahead, sorry.
I've been thinking about the remake one, and I think it's okay for what it was. But I don't really remember it that much.
Well, that's not hard to believe. You don't remember shit that we do.
Yeah, I don't remember anything, I guess.
But anyway, everybody, thank you for listening to this episode. Like the episode on what platform you were listening to. Share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with your enemies and tell them it's good.
What about your frenemies?
Your frenemies, your friends with benefits in the middle of sex. Like, hey, I listen to these guys. And they
when you nut, you're like, oh, listen to Filmoscopy.
And they're like, she goes, why'd you bring that up? It's like, well,
sorry,
the logo of the podcast is a camera going into another camera's ass, and I'm in your ass, so it's fine.
Sorry, it's just the only thing that gets me off.
Filmoscopy!
Think about these three guys.
Up to no good, dancing in my neighborhood. Anywho, that's fucking hilarious. Sorry, I'm watching something that's way fucking weird on the TV. I don't know what the hell this is. Anyway, I'm gonna get off this phone. I'm gonna get off this phone, and it's not that. Don't get me in trouble. Anyway, thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Model A Ford and a tank full of gas.
Model A Ford and a tank full of gas.
Handful of pussy and a mouthful of ass.
Handful of pussy and a mouthful of ass.